The CEO of a billion-dollar business is in damage control after his affair with a colleague was exposed, of all places, on kiss cam at a Coldplay concert. As Mark Santo-Martino reports, the internet has gone into overdrive, staggered by the pair's shameless and shameful behaviour.
What was meant to be just another electric night at a Coldplay concert took an unexpected turn. On stage, Chris Martin, global rock legend, dropped a bombshell. With the world watching and royals in the crowd, he pointedly joked, "Look at these two." It should have been Harry and Meghan Markle, as he referenced Andy Byron, a disgraced CEO who just lost it all, his job, his marriage, and his dignity after a cheating scandal tied to the very same event. The audience gasped, then burst into uneasy laughter. But somewhere among them, the royal exiles sat frozen, stone-faced, humiliated, furious, and maybe, just maybe, heartbroken.
Perhaps. Andy is here with a story about how the kiss cam is really sort of a bad idea.
It depends on who you are.
Yeah, what you're up to.
It will reveal all, I think. It depends on what part of the story you're in on this. So Jumbotron's kiss.
They were finally exposed for what many had long suspected, fame-hungry symbols of modern-day entitlement. Chris Martin's jab wasn't off the cuff. It landed right when whispers were already swirling about CEO Andy Byron, whose downfall was playing out in real time after being caught on camera getting a little too close to a female employee during the concert. Martin knew exactly what he was doing, the cameras, the crowd, the energy. So when he said, "It should have been Harry and Meghan Markle," the room didn't just react. It felt it, a gasp, a laugh, not out of surprise but recognition. Because to many, Meghan and Harry, much like Byron, had become walking headlines of scandal, implosion, and public spectacle. And for Martin, a man usually known for playing it safe, it was a rare, razor-sharp moment.
Either they're living an affair or it's very sharp. I'm not quite sure what to do.
He chose this moment not to crack a joke, but to hold up a mirror reflecting exactly what so many have been thinking about the Sussexes. For Meghan, it stings deeper. She's long chased the approval of Hollywood's inner circle from carefully posed snapshots at Beyoncé concerts to cozying up with Netflix power players. It's been a climb, one red carpet at a time. But here's the reality. Real A-listers don't chase relevance, they command it. They don't need scripted interviews, planned paparazzi shots, or stories of victimhood to stay in the spotlight. So when Chris Martin took that jab, it wasn't just shade, it was a statement. The act, it's no longer working. And people inside the industry, they're finally saying it out loud.
Frontman Chris Martin clocked that could maybe be the two of them having an affair. As the video went viral, the internet quickly decided they knew who they were.
Oh boy.
He appears to be the CEO of a tech company, and she...
The industry seems to have finally grown weary of Meghan and Harry's constant media maneuvers, their endless effort to turn victimhood into a brand of power. And the message that night couldn't have been clearer: you're not part of this circle. Multiple concert-goers say Harry's reaction said it all. He wasn't amused. One insider even claimed he looked like he might storm out, no smile, no shrug, just pure tension. Meghan kept her gaze fixed ahead, but her clenched jaw betrayed the calm. This isn't the first time Harry's temper has flared when faced with public rejection, but now the digs aren't whispered, they're loud, direct, and coming from Hollywood itself. And when artists like Chris Martin start turning your story into a punchline, that's when you know the tide has truly turned.
A Coldplay concert is going viral. It gets me really nervous, but not because of the music, but this couple horrified after they appeared in a kiss cam during the band's Boston show. They were ducking, the man ducked.
It's a clear sign that their reputation isn't something that can be saved anymore, not with charm, not with spin, and definitely not with another Netflix documentary. So let's break down the comparison Chris Martin actually made. He brought up Andy Byron, a big-name tech CEO who had it all on the surface until a video surfaced of him getting close with a coworker at that very same Coldplay concert. The clip went viral, and within a day his world collapsed. He stepped down, his wife filed for separation, and his company released a formal statement. He instantly became a cautionary tale. So when Chris Martin joked that it should have been Harry and Meghan instead, it wasn't just a cheap laugh, it was a brutal comparison, drawing a line between their downward spiral and the same pattern of public self-destruction.
In her hands, why did they do this? Obviously, they didn't want to be seen together. Chris Martin says either they're having an affair or they're shy. He literally said that.
Abusing privilege, misleading the public, and breaking trust, whether it's Harry airing out family drama or Meghan shifting her story with every new sit-down, the message couldn't be clearer. Like Byron, the Sussexes built their image on shaky ground, and now it's all starting to collapse. They may have tried to brush off the jab, but the crowd's reaction said everything. Laughter filled the venue, raw and loud, even echoing backstage. Some guests turned just to catch their reaction, and a few fans caught on video could be heard shouting, "It is them." Before laughing even harder, this wasn't just a passing moment. It was a public reckoning, the kind of blow no press team can soften, the kind of sting Hollywood doesn't forget. And for Meghan, who's spent years crafting the image of a powerful, forward-thinking woman, this was the moment that cracked the illusion wide open.
He's already shut down her Instagram and her Facebook page because it was just inundated with comments. And from what they can tell, sources have confirmed that the woman there with him is not his wife. We don't think that she was at the concert.
Right.
Which wasn't, by the way.
For Harry, the man who once told the world, "Just call me Harry," the joke only confirmed what so many already think. He didn't leave royalty for freedom. He left it to become a caricature of himself. And when Chris Martin dropped that bombshell line, the Coldplay crowd didn't just chuckle, they erupted, cheers, whistles. Applause. It turned a single comment into a thunderous, viral moment of public reckoning, and it wasn't anonymous online hate. It was thousands of real people in real time, showing exactly how far the Sussexes have fallen. Eyewitnesses say Meghan froze in place while Harry's face turned to stone. And while Meghan reportedly demanded an apology backstage, calling the joke deeply disrespectful, it raises a bigger question. Because in Hollywood, everyone gets roasted, no one is off limits, so what makes Meghan think she should be?
There's a lot of controversy.
It is everywhere, Sharon, which we're going to talk about the fact that it's everywhere too. But it's this Coldplay concert last night, doing a kiss cam through the crowd.
A kiss cam?
Yes.
Okay.
Critics say it's yet another sign of her deep sense of entitlement, that Meghan wants the love and admiration of Hollywood, but none of the heat that comes with it. Yet fame doesn't work that way, especially not for someone who walked away from actual royalty only to chase a crown in the world of fame and flashing cameras. And then came Coldplay's onstage burn, a moment that shattered any illusion Meghan still had of controlling the narrative. And while the crowd laughed, Harry quietly stormed off, reportedly snapping at a fan who asked for a photo, his face red, fists clenched, anger written all over him. And now it's becoming painfully clear that life outside the palace walls isn't what he imagined. Stripped of royal protection, Harry's no longer shielded, he's exposed, and worse. Even artists like Chris Martin are proving that this reinvention isn't landing the way they hoped. Because instead of being seen as bold or free, Harry's now coming off as bitter and out of control, and within hours of the Coldplay jab, Meghan's PR team was in full spin mode, dropping whispers to tabloids about how deeply hurt the couple was, hinting they might avoid future award shows altogether. But let's be real. We've seen this strategy before. It's the same old cycle. Deflect the blame, play the victim, repeat the script, all while ignoring the actual issue, which is public burnout and growing indifference. And no matter how polished the PR response is, it can't undo the reality that Chris Martin just said out loud what so many people have been quietly thinking for years. Because here's the truth: Hollywood is slowly stepping away from Harry and Meghan. The charm is fading, the sympathy is running dry, and now from Tyler Perry's subtle digs to comedians openly mocking them on stage, they're no longer viewed as brave whistleblowers but as easy punchlines. And that shift didn't happen overnight, it's been building for a while. It all boils down to overexposure, arrogance, and the public growing tired of a narrative that paints them as eternal victims. And Chris Martin's joke was just the latest spark in a fire that's been burning for a while. Because unless something drastically changes, Harry and Meghan may soon find themselves pushed out of the very Hollywood scene they fought so hard to be part of. And what started as just another star-studded Coldplay concert has now turned into a full-blown PR disaster for the Sussexes. Because they walked into that arena expecting applause and admiration, but walked out humiliated, laughed at, and pushed further into the background. And Chris Martin didn't just throw out a random joke, he cracked open the public's quiet frustration, exposing how shaky and fragile the entire Meghan and Harry brand has become. Because let's face it, they've already burned bridges with the royal family, lost their grip on mainstream media, and now even celebrities in their own circle have started taking jabs in public, and that Coldplay stage suddenly became a mirror they never wanted to face. And when they did, the reflection staring back wasn't pretty, and what's even more revealing is how quickly they tried to shut it. All down, scrambling behind the scenes, spinning statements, issuing press releases. But it's too late, because once it's out in the open, there's no putting it back. The mask has slipped, the story's fallen apart, and now the world is watching again, not as supporters, but as spectators to a slow unraveling. Asking the same question, was Chris Martin out of line, or did he just say what everyone's been thinking for years? And maybe now Hollywood has finally stopped bowing to the Sussex PR machine? And maybe this really is the turning point, because yet again, we're witnessing another public spectacle, another moment of embarrassment in the ongoing Meghan and Harry drama. But this time, it wasn't a royal insider or some bitter relative holding up the truth. It was a rock star on stage, casually revealing what many believe deep down, that the pursuit of privacy was never the goal. It was the spotlight they wanted all along. And what makes this moment hit so hard is how unplanned it was. Chris Martin didn't set out to shame them. He cracked a joke, but that joke sliced through the illusion like a blade. Because it hit on something honest. People are simply tired of the drama, tired of the contradictions, tired of hearing victim stories from two people flying private jets and cashing multi-million-dollar deals. And when the audience laughed, it wasn't cruelty, it was agreement. Because Meghan and Harry have turned into exaggerated versions of everything they claim to hate, caught up in the same fame game they once criticized, and the comparison to a disgraced CEO wasn't just random, it was symbolic, just like Andy Byron, who lost everything in a moment of reckless ego. Harry and Meghan are risking it all too, not just sympathy, but their credibility, their dignity, even their future in Hollywood, and it's all because they refuse to pause, to reflect, to take responsibility. And let's not forget, these are the same people who once cried to Oprah about being destroyed by public attention, but now they're parading through concerts and events, chasing the very fame they claimed broke them, and the hypocrisy has become impossible to ignore. And this concert, this night that should have been remembered for music, will now be remembered for the moment the Sussex spell finally broke. The night the world stopped seeing them as royals and started seeing them as jokes, because once the laughter starts in Hollywood, the myth is over, and that might just be their biggest downfall yet. And if you're paying attention, you'll see clearly, the walls aren't just closing in, they're crashing down.